My name is Richard House. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in the Philippines from 1982 to 84. The name of the program was Appropriate Technology Specialist. The idea of the Appropriate Technology Specialist was we had a lot of generalist volunteers at that time, and so I was there as I've got degrees in engineering and business with a subspecialty in agricultural engineering. So the idea was there were a lot of problems with wells and water systems, small-scale agriculture. I was able to come out to people's sites, come up with some ideas, design some projects for people, and then it was up to them to try to get the financing and to get it built. In a big picture, very little impact. Any impact was really local. My family, or the church that I grew up in, actually made a donation to the Heifer Project, and so we connected with the Filipino version of the Heifer Project, who then supplied an elementary school with 2 pigs, goats, ducks, and so we did a sort of a bio-intensive project where you had tilapia in a fish pond with ducks floating on top, with the pigs in cages above that, and so it was like a full feeding cycle. And the teachers and students were all able to participate, and it was really exciting. It was really fun, and the idea was that as there were baby pigs and things, we were supposed to, out of each litter, there was supposed to be a certain number that were given off to other people to expand the genetic line of the local animals. The disappointment was, it was great while I was there. I came back a year and a half later, and all the animals had been eaten. So, sometimes I look and go, well, they sure had one big party when I left. I guess the biggest benefit for me being there was that people had a whole nother vision of what it was like to be an American, because their total perspective of Americans was from watching TV. And then they got to meet me and they said, "You're not anything like what we see on TV." And I said, "Yeah, I like to eat vegetables, and I like to run, and I like to swim, and I like to go fishing," and it humanized their whole experience of what it was to be an American. I think the biggest benefit the U.S. received from the work I did there was that people really appreciated I think, my presence as an American and the other volunteers and Americans who came through. There seemed to be, they just loved it when I had guests. And the kids, in the culture of the Philippines, the kids were usually taken care of by an older child, who was then kind of overseen by another older child. But they didn't have many activities. And so I had built a house in the center of the village, and my front porch when I was there was sort of a meeting place for all the kids. They would love it because I had albums that had pictures of them. They would look at pictures. I had games, frisbees, toys, and so it was sort of like a free-for-all. And I think that's what the people and the kids especially really appreciated was, wow, Cardo is there, and off we go. The biggest, I guess, character changer for me was that as a Peace Corps volunteer, I got the equivalent of maybe $60 a month as an allowance. And I could not spend that in my village. There just was nothing to buy, And so I realized that these are some of the happiest people I met, and it didn't have anything to do with money. And everything was just about done by trade initially, because we didn't even have electricity when I first got to my village. We had our little kerosene lamps at night, and people would sit around and sing, but the whole life changed because midway into my experience, electricity came into the village, and that the wealthier people would then have gotten a refrigerator and some a TV set. And so I watched the shift because people didn't hang out as much. And so I really watched the disadvantage of technology, how it kind of pulled you apart and you didn't have to sit around at night with your guitar because that's all you could do.